What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I am going to be doing something slightly different than what I typically do on this channel, because I finally got around to seeing some new recent media releases, and I wanted to talk about a few of them. So today I'm going to be making a combo review for LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation, the new LEGO Star Wars special on Disney+, as well as Lightyear, the newest Pixar film, which was just recently added to Disney Plus as well. Let's start things off with LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation. Now, this is of course the sequel to the LEGO Star Wars Holiday Special from 2020, as well as LEGO Star Wars Terrifying Tales, the Halloween special from last year. I know there are some people who have really soured on these LEGO Star Wars specials, but I don't have a big problem with them. I think they are harmless fun within the galaxy of Star Wars, and this one is no different. It's probably the weakest one so far, but I still had a fun time watching it. The humor is not quite as clever as the previous two. There are a lot of kiddie jokes, but those are balanced out by a lot of reference humor thrown in for the older audience, who will appreciate a lot of the Easter eggs and how it pokes fun at different pieces of Star Wars media. Perhaps the funniest moment that made me laugh out loud needs to be seen to be believed.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy! Go, go, go!
That clip actually creates a nice segue into my next point about how music was really well incorporated into this special, perhaps even more so than the previous two LEGO Star Wars specials. The composer for all of these is actually Michael Kramer, one of the two composers who worked on the score for Ninjago Masters of Spinjitzu, my previous favorite show, until it got destroyed, but that's a topic for another video. Kramer was able to implement several pieces of Star Wars music into this special, and not just the ones you would expect, like the Force theme or the Imperial March, which are of course present, but far more obscure ones, like the Book of Boba Fett theme, which you just heard, or even cues from John Powell's score for Solo: A Star Wars Story. I think I might be the only person on the planet who is familiar with the theme from that film, so I really appreciated Kramer including these lesser-known pieces of Star Wars music, as it was really fun for me to identify all of these different cues and motifs that a lot of people might not be familiar with. What's also kind of crazy is that this trilogy of LEGO Star Wars specials was somehow able to form a more coherent narrative than the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Each of these specials is focused on one of the titular characters from those films. The first one, Rey. The second, Poe. This one, Finn. Each of these specials was able to give those individual characters more of a defined arc than any of the feature-length films they were in. That's kind of sad, but it was really cool to hear a lot of these voice actors reprising their roles, like D. Bradley Baker, James Arnold Taylor, and Matt Lanter from the Clone Wars, as well as Billy D. Williams and Kelly Marie Tran from the films themselves. It certainly helps make the entire Star Wars timeline feel more cohesive. Something else of note is that the animation quality has seemingly declined slightly from the previous two LEGO Star Wars specials. The previous two, particularly the Holiday Special, had very detailed textures on the minifigure models and environments. While the animation in this special certainly wasn't bad, it was far less refined, and there is a noticeable difference in the amount of detail featured within the animation. I wonder if they lost a decent chunk of their budget, or if perhaps they just didn't have as much time to work on this one as opposed to the previous two. Just some food for thought. At the end of the day, I'm not sure what people were expecting from this special. It's obviously not high art, but I wanted to put something on for 40 minutes and have a few chuckles along the way, and this special gave me that. It was exactly what it needed to be. Nothing more and nothing less. Our next topic of discussion is Lightyear. Now, I can't say I was really anticipating this film. I thought the premise seemed kind of weak, and I had heard from a lot of people that it was very mediocre, but Pixar is essentially incapable of making a bad film at this point, so I went in with level expectations, and I thought it was a decent movie, which is very below average for Pixar, but still above average for a modern blockbuster. I suppose I may touch on some mild spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film yet and don't want to get spoiled at all for it, click off now. But for the first third, I honestly thought it was going to be bad, because the plot moved at a breakneck pace and everything felt extremely rushed. A lot of the emotional beats were very derivative of other movies, the entire montage sequence felt like it was totally ripped from Up, and the message being recorded due to time dilation was very obviously ripped from Interstellar, but thankfully Socks the cat showed up and saved the entire movie, because I thought that thing was frickin' hilarious. I know a lot of the humor generated from that was essentially just the cat going beep boop, meow meow, but it worked for me. I think the entire movie should have just been focused on him, because he stole the show. Speaking of being derivative of other movies, the entire villain plotline was literally ripped directly from the Lego Movie 2. Those of you who have seen the film will know what I'm talking about, but it was actually kind of hilarious, and I can't figure out if that was a conscious choice on the part of the film, or if it was just so poorly developed that it was ironically funny. There is a good message at the core of this film, though. The character Buzz Lightyear is very determined to accomplish this mission, and that makes him somewhat cold and unwilling to trust those around him. But at the end of the film, he learns to value life. And I can connect with that. As a person, I constantly set objectives for myself to achieve, and when I can't achieve them, it can be very frustrating sometimes. So I appreciated that this film touches on the fact that sometimes we just need to slow down and cherish what we have around us, rather than trying to achieve something greater. But I wasn't as emotionally invested in the message as a lot of other Pixar films, because it's not subtle at all. There's literally a scene where Buzz tells his new crew that if he does this over here, then he won't be able to save them. And they say, "Buzz, we don't need you to save us. We just need you to work with us." While this very melodramatic music plays in the background. And I was just like, okay, movie, I know what you're trying to say. The second the villain explained what he was trying to do as well, I immediately knew how the rest of the film was going to play out. With a few small exceptions, it is an extremely predictable movie, and the message is very explicitly stated at multiple points. This worked for me in a film like Turning Red, which was a very wacky and bombastic ride about how people are imperfect and a little crazy sometimes. So at the end of that movie, when the protagonist explicitly states the message, it doesn't bug me because it fits within the context of that film. In Buzz Lightyear, a film which is trying to be a more grounded character study, when the characters are constantly stating the message, it pulls me out a little bit. The pacing was also all over the place. As I said, the first third was extremely rushed and moved very fast. Then Buzz meets up with his new crew and things slow down for a while in the middle until things kick into high gear for the third act. The experience of watching this film was very strange. There was no constant forward momentum. Things just slowed down and picked up at random points. It was kind of bizarre, in all honesty. I know I probably sound like I didn't like this movie, but I did. There are many great things about it. As per usual with Pixar, the animation quality is top-notch. Michael Giacchino delivers a competent score. As I said, within certain scenes it can feel a little bit melodramatic and intrusive, but his main theme was pretty memorable. I can't see it going down as one of his most iconic scores, but it worked well enough within the film itself. I've also seen a lot of people taking issue with the side characters, but I didn't really have any problems with them. I thought they were all pretty fun characters. At the end of the day, this was a fun movie, and I enjoyed watching it. But I can't see it sticking with me for long after this point, which is something that I can't say about a majority of Pixar films. There is almost always something about Pixar films that sticks with me long after watching them. But this movie didn't really have anything like that for me, which I suppose is disappointing, but I wasn't expecting that much out of this movie to begin with. So I would say it was a pleasant surprise. With all that being said, that's about it for my thoughts on LEGO Star Wars Summer Vacation and Lightyear. Summer Vacation is definitely the best Star Wars product so far this year, but that isn't saying much considering its competition. Lightyear was an enjoyable movie, but in my opinion at least, definitely on the lower end of Pixar films. But you guys let me know, what are your thoughts on these two movies, or I guess movie and TV special? Just whatever your thoughts are, please let me know them all in the comments below. And of course, as always, I hope you guys have a great day. Take care.